Welcome to Motonexus, the shop. Motonexus is the hassle-free online auction for motorcycles. Don't negotiate the price down in your driveway. Auction your bike and let buyers bid up in a live auction. In this video, I'll step through the procedures to install a new air filter in this 2022 BMW R1250 GSA. These procedures should be the same or very similar for any R1250. To complete this project, I'm going to be using a ratchet, maybe a small ratchet, there's a couple of tight spots, an extension, a screwdriver with a flat blade, a T25 Torx and a T30 Torx. A magnet is really handy for one or two steps because the screws sit so deep. And then of course a new air filter. I'm using these particular tools instead of what's in my big toolbox because these are the tools I take with me on a ride. And for this particular bike, which is an adventure bike, it's important to just always be comfortable using the tools that you might take with you on a ride, because you can't take that thing over there with you on an adventure ride. Start by removing the seat. And if it's connected to a seat heater, you'll need to pop that off. We're going to start by removing the two T25 Torx screws from the rear of the tank cover. I keep track of all the screws by putting them into the glove box on top of the tank. At the front of the tank cover are three screws. Way down in the center there is a T30 Torx we're going to take out first. It's a long one. And then we'll remove these two T25 screws on the left and right. Next, we'll take out the T25 Torx on the left and right at the front of the tank cover. I'm using a small ratchet here just because it's a little easier to get in there. Kind of a confined space. Next, we want to remove the two screws that are inside the glove box. Here and here. It's T25 Torx yet again. None of these are torqued down very hard. They're just about 8 Newton meters, which is just snug by hand. So you can do these with a screwdriver. We'll just secure the glove box, and now we can pop off the cover. The tank cover just pops off. Don't let it stretch you too much when you hear it snap. And that's it, we can set this aside. Now the airbox cover is exposed, and we can get at the four T25 Torx screws that are at each corner. Those sit pretty deep. And so it's going to be helpful to have a magnet to pull those out of there. At the front of the body panels are these little threaded clips that fit over this notch. And we want to remove those so we don't scratch anything up. And the easiest way to do that is just to gently flex them out with your thumb or with a flat blade screwdriver. Now we can get the airbox cover up. Just want to carefully flex it up until you can get it past the body panels, because nobody actually wants to remove all this body work just to get this cover off. But you can see how tight BMW made this, so just be careful, bend it out of the way, and it'll come out. Now you can just lift the air filter out. Yeah, this one was definitely in need of a change, and we can see that, you know, there's plenty of stuff here that could probably just be blown out, but we have a new one, so we're going to make that change. And then, good idea, just take a look inside and see if there's anything that needs to be vacuumed out, wiped off. And this one actually looks really clean. You want to look down that pipe and see if there's anything trapped in there. Overall, I think we can just blow off the rim there and put the new air filter in. All right, so place the new air filter in with the seal down. It can only go in one way, but the seal sits into those grooves down there. And then set the air filter frame on top to hold it in place. That'll keep it from getting pushed around places it doesn't belong. You can see the little tabs over the top. So the frame only goes in one way. It takes a little finessing to get this back underneath the bodywork. Just make sure that it's sitting down flush all the way around, like that, before you start putting screws back in. We're going to put these threaded clips back on first, but notice on this side, there's a hole, square hole. That's for the tab on the front of the body panel so that these slip over and then align with that tab. There's no tools required. Just take your time, slip them on carefully. The flush part here should be facing up. The threaded tab you'll see sticking out, that goes underneath. Now let's put the screws back in to the airbox cover, and we'll get it buttoned up. I'm going to start just by dropping the screws into the hole so I don't drop a screw on the floor somewhere. This shouldn't have come loose, but there's a wire right here that comes off of the gas tank, off of the cap, and it's a sensor wire. And it fits into this slot on the left side of the airbox cover. Just make sure that that's all tucked in there nice and tight. If it came out while you were working on the airbox, but it shouldn't have. The spec on these screws says 8 Newton meters. 8 Newton meters is basically just snug by hand. So there's really no reason to measure that for this step. Now we're going to put the tank cover back on. You notice that it has these little tabs on either corner here at the front left and right of the cover. and those fit underneath this part of the body panel on either side. So when you hear it snap into place, what's going to happen is you're going to put it over the tank filler neck here, and as you push down and forward, it'll kind of snap into place. You want to make sure those tabs are underneath the body panels. For whatever reason, the right side seems to go in easier first and then work the left side. And once it's in place, we can start to screw it down again. So we'll start with the 2 T25 screws inside the glove box. All right, next we want to get that long T25 Torx down into that center hole at the front of the tank cover and just carefully finesse it in there. That's it. And then we'll screw it down snug. Next, we're going to put the T25 short Torx into the left and right at the front of the cover. Just give those a little start. Just get these in hand tight and then snug them down with the ratchet. Finally, we're going to put the 2 T25 Torx screws in at the rear of the tank cover and just snug them down. Again, the spec on these is 8 Newton meters, which is just snug by hand tight. And now we can just reinstall the seat. Want to clip in the connection for the heater if you have one. And that's it. Your air filter's installed, job's complete. I hope you found this video helpful. Please click the like button, ring the bell, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to stay up to date on the latest auctions, or if you want to buy or sell a bike, please go to Motonexus.com on the interwebs and click the big red Register Here button. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.